In this video, we are going to do problem number 29, rock, paper, scissors. So all the 29.0 problems are going to have to do with processing two lists simultaneously, but in lockstep fashion, right? So the previous 28.0 problems were like process only one of the lists, and then the bottom one stays the same, right? One of them stays the same. In this case, we're going to process both of them at the same time, and we're going to take the first of the list and pretty much the rest at the same time in each recursive call. So this is what the recursive call is going to look like. And we're going to take the first of both of the lists and notice how it's being processed both in lockstep fashion. All right. So those are all the 29.0 problems. So rock, paper, scissors, and I already have it opened up in Racket. So let's just scroll down and look for problem A. So problem A says, design the function rps-tournament that consumes two lists. Each list represents the moves of two players in the game. Each item in the list represents the moves they made that round. So produce 1 if player 1 wins, -1 if player 2 wins, and 0 for a draw. So for example, given the list scissors and list scissors, so these are all of player's 1 moves, and this is all of player 2's moves. It's a draw because we produced list 0, and scissors, if they both play scissors, then it's a draw. All right, given this second example, it kind of makes more sense, right? We have a list of a lot of moves. It can be any length long. In this case, it looks like they played 3 rounds. And this is all of player 1's moves, and this is all players 2 moves. And they come in pairs, right? We can look at them in a pair-like fashion. So, rock versus paper. Who wins? Well, paper wraps around rock, right? So player 2 wins. Therefore, we produce the list -1. All right? Next one. Next set of pairs, scissors and paper. Paper and scissors. The scissors cuts paper, so this is player's 1's move, and it beats player 2, so produce 1. And then the last one is rock against rock, and that is 0 because it is a draw. All right. This requires traversing both lists at every recursive call. You should assume both lists start off with the same length. So we can actually assume that it will always be the same length, right? So let's see. This is going to be list of length 3. The second list is always going to be list of length 3. They're going to be equal length pretty much all the time because it doesn't make sense for, player 1 to just not have a move or player 2 to just not have a new moves, right? So you're not going to end up with this being 2 long, this being 3 long, right? That's never going to happen in this problem. And here is the definition. RPS is one of rock, paper, scissors, and they gave us the signature. So you have rps-tournament consumes 2 lists. This is player 1's move, player's 2 moves, and this is set 1 and set 2. Produce the numbers corresponding to who won in rock, paper, scissors, all right? And here's the stub. So pause the video and try to work through this on your own. I'm moving spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right, I'm gonna assume that you guys took a good swing at it. Now let's go over it together. So let's just write some tests here since we did the signature, purpose, and stub. So check, expect, rps-tournament. Let's say if both of them are empty, right? If both players just don't make a move, what happens? Well, we have to produce a list at the end of the day, so we should just produce empty. All right, so let's do some more tests here. So if you go back to the website over here, you can find that we can deduce all the cases, right? If both lists are empty, that's the test that we just wrote over here. What about list 1 has items, but list 2 is empty, right? So it's going to be something like this test, right? List 1 has items, so list rock, okay? And then list 2 is empty. But wait a second, right? What should this be? Does this even make sense in the context of this problem? Because this problem always does it counts up the things in pairs, right? Because if someone plays rock, then the other one has to have some move, right? Player 2 has to have some move that matches players. So it's kind of nonsensical to have that situation here because it doesn't make sense because we're supposed to measure and compare the pairs of the moves of the players. So yeah, this test just doesn't make sense. So we can just not do it because it doesn't make sense. I'm just going to comment it out, but you should delete it because that test, yeah, because we can assume both lists start off with the same length. So there's a lot of assumptions that the problem statement can give you such that it will kind of indicate that some of these situations are nonsensical. List 2 has items, but list 1 is empty. That doesn't make sense either, right? You guys both have to have the same amount of moves because we have to compare you guys in pairs. All right, so we can skip those 2 tests and then skip to this last one. both lists have items, and those items are going to be the same length long, right? This is 1 length long, and then the second list is also 1 length long, and the first one is 3 length long, and then the third one, the second list, is also 3 length long. All right, so let's just copy and paste those tests down. So check expect rps-tournament. So it's just going to be this. So that's player 1's moves. This is player 2 moves. All right, I'm just going to delete some space here. All right, so this should produce this list. All right, and then we should do the other test where it was like 1 long. So check expect this 1 long, like so. All right, so this one, I hit Control I to reindent. It should be list 0 because it's a draw, right? This is player 1, player 2. All right, so that is a good amount of tests done. So let's just run this code. And we get some differs, no other errors with the tests themselves. So we are good to go. Let's just turn this into the template, all right? So if you remember from the previous video, I did show you guys how to template the all the cases over here. And we can just paste this down and we can work through this like so. All right, so anyways, hopefully this should be all the mental scaffolding needed to solve rps-tournament. Gonna rename this. All right, try to pause the video and do this on your own. I'm gonna go over spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right, I'm assuming that you guys took a good swing at it. So now let's go over it together. So if both lists are empty, this test over here, then produce empty. All right, like so. All right, this is the test if list 1 has something in it and list 2 doesn't, right? So let me just rename this to set 1 and set 2 because it's the set of players 1 moves and then the set of player 2's moves. All right. So if the player has stuff, player 1 has a bunch of moves and player 2 doesn't have a set of moves, how can you guys even compete, right? So these 2 tests were the nonsensical ones. All right, so we're just left with this last statement over here. All right, so they both have stuff in it. That's fine. But what do we need to do to the elements of them? Well, looks like looking at the signature here, we are creating a list at the end of the day. And to create a list, you can use cons or append. But in this case, we need to do cons because we're building a list. All right, this takes the first of the individual items of the list. So this would be rock, and then this would be paper in this test, and this would be scissors and then scissors, right? Scissors and scissors. So we need to compare these two, and we're going to say let's just call this versus. All right, and this function is going to produce the number correlated with who wins, right? But beyond that, though, we still have some more things to go. We need to do a recursive call if there are other moves, right? So we have to call rps-tournament again on the rest of set 1 and rest of set 2. So the list can keep getting smaller, and then we'll hit this base case or the empty case. So I want to wrap these two in calling up rps-tournament. All right. We have to call the rest on both because we want to, process them in lockstep. This one over here. All right. Like so. All right, so I'm going to space this down, and it says versus this function is not defined. So we can just actually write that. All right, so versus, let's see, first of set 1 and set 2. Well, set 1 is a list of strings, set 2 is a list of string, and those strings are rock, paper, or scissors, right? So versus is going to consume 2 strings. So string, and then produce what? Well, this has to produce a number because we want to produce a list of numbers corresponding with who wins. So the string number. All right, and we can actually make this a checked signature. So I'm just going to do that because it's nice to get some errors that we have any. All right, so define versus, and we're going to say P1, P2. All right, or M1, M2 for move 1 and move 2, but yeah, it's whatever. All right, so let's just stub this out to produce 0, and we can do all the tests for rock, paper, scissors. So check expect versus rock. It's a draw, right? So produce 0, and then you can imagine the other test: rock, paper, and then rock, scissors. I always have problems spelling scissors. So there we go. All right, so this is -1 because player 2 wins. Paper wraps around rock. All right, rock beats, right? It punches scissors, so produce 1. All right, so that's the set done for rock. We have to do the paper. Check expect versus paper, paper. All right, so paper, paper is going to be a draw. And then we have to do the other test here. Paper, let's see, paper, rock, and then paper, scissors. All right, so paper, rock. If player 1 is paper and player 2 is rock, then I wrap around paper, therefore I win, so that's a 1. And scissors is player 2 beats player 1, so -1. All right, and we can do the last set of tests for, let's see, rock, paper, and then scissors. So scissors, and scissors is a draw. Copy, paste this in. All right, scissors, rock, and then scissors, paper. All right, so for rock, let's see, scissors and rock. Rock punches scissors, and that is in the player 2 slot. So that should be -1. And then this should be 1 because scissors cuts paper. Player 1 beat player 2. All right, so that is pretty much all the tests. And it looks like there are no other mismatches, so we are good. So I recommend you pause the video and try to do versus P1, P2 on your own. I'm gonna go over spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right, I'm assuming that you guys took a good swing at it. So now let's go over it together. So for the sake of time, I'm just gonna paste in this code that has the 9-case cond, all right? Because I'm sure you guys don't wanna watch me write this entire thing. And we see that all 12 tests do pass. So we could actually simplify this function because look at this, right? If P1 is rock and P2 is rock, then it's a draw. If P1 is paper and P2 is paper, then it's a draw. If P1 is scissors and P2 is scissors, then it's a draw, right? So what we can do is actually say, is string equal, if P1 and P2 are the same moves, then it's a draw. And we can delete all the cases that are draws. So that's one branch gone, and another branch gone. And if we hit run, all the same 12 tests still pass. All right, so we can actually simplify this some more. Granted, this isn't really part of the main exercise. You should be really focusing on the RPS tournament, but I'm just going to show you guys how to simplify and factor things out. All right, so we can do all the rock cases. Rock is only 2 cases, right? These 2, right? So we can actually do string equal, because we know that after this, right, after that we ruled out that it's a draw, we know that it's going to be different moves. So let me do this one. So for rock, right? So for rock, if player 1 is rock, all right, then there are really 2 options, right? If P2 is, let's see, paper, that means, let's see, paper wraps around rock, so -1. Otherwise, 1, because otherwise it can only be scissors, right? Because we eliminated the possibility for a draw, and we know that P2 is never going to be rock. So this can be shortened to this, right? So we can just run this code, and we can just delete these 2 for rock. Run, all the same tests do pass, right? And we can do the same for these other cases over here if we want to remove them and replace it with this other version. It's kind of a stylistic choice, right? If you prefer this version or this version. This one's a little bit shorter, but maybe it's less clear, right? If player 1 is rock and player 2 is paper, then produce -1, and then this else is kind of implicit. You have to go, all right, well then if player 2 isn't paper, then it's scissors, right? So it's, the simplification is arguably, it's up to you if you want to style it which way. All right, so I'm just going to leave it as is because you can see this version in these 2 cases, right? The expanded case version that checked both of them. Arguably, this is a bit easier to read, right? You can see, and paper, scissors, paper, rock. Oh, that's what it equals rather than this implicit case. But I'm just showing you guys that you can simplify this, all these 2 cases into just sort of one case with an implicit else. All right, so let's just move back to our main problem here. We just said that it passes all these tests and does produce these numbers that we want, but we can simplify this even more. All right, so if we go back to the diagram over here, right, the lockstep processing, the fact that we're processing them both at the same time means that we can really check only one of the lists to see if it's empty, because we're processing them in pairs. Therefore, we don't have to worry about one being empty and one being non-empty, right? The problem even assumes that both lists start off with the same length, right? So we can just delete the check for set 2 or set 1. So I'm going to delete the check for if set 2 is empty, right? Because we always process them in pairs, in lockstep pairs. And if the first one is empty, then it's likely the second one is also empty. And that's because of the problem statement. You won't always be able to assume that. So for this problem, we can assume that. So let's just do that. So if I delete this second check for empty, like so, and I have to remove the and, or else it's going to say, hey, and needs 2 things. So there you go. Run. Same 12 tests to pass. All right. So arguably, it's more simpler, and it's a very tiny bit faster, right? Because it doesn't have to check the second case, the set 2, and check if it's empty. All right, and this can be simplified to else because it's the second last case of a cond. So else. And there we go. All right, so that is the simplification for our rps-tournament. And you can apply this simplification quite often if you know that you're processing in lockstep and you can assume that both lists are the same length, like the problem statement stated. All right, and we can factor some more things and make this code better, like factoring these strings into variables, because it's easy to misspell strings and etc. But this is 29.0 done. So I recommend you submit this to Handin and check your score. And yeah. So please use this video as a reference video to solve all the other problems for 29.0, because they're also going to have to deal with lockstep processing. All right. But nonetheless, right, try to put yourself and not try to flip back and watch a video and try to match it, right? If you can push yourself, the more you can push yourself, the better. All right. And that is about it for this video, and I will catch you in the next one.